The massive Microsoft outage impacting businesses around the world, taking some companies temporarily offline and forcing major American airlines to ground flights. Computer screens showing that dreaded blue screen and recovery error messages. Microsoft says there were issues with cloud services in various Microsoft 365 apps. Cybersecurity agency CrowdStrike says it has identified the issue behind the outage and is working on a fix. CrowdStrike also says the outage is not because of a security issue or cyber attack. Some airlines are slowly coming back online, but at this hour, more than 1,000 flights in the U.S. have been canceled. Ariel Reshef joins me now from New York's LaGuardia Airport. And Ariel, what is the latest on which airlines are still grounded, and what are officials saying about how long until they're back on schedule?
Yeah, Steph, as you can imagine, those are exactly the questions that all of these passengers have, and we've been having passengers come up to us asking us for any answers. American Airlines, Delta, United, other major carriers were taken offline completely last night and grounded all of their flights, as you mentioned. Now, some of them have started a little bit of their operations back up, but we are still seeing some ground stops across the country. So, of course, the airlines are saying that this will impact travelers all throughout today. They're asking for some patience as they get their schedules back on track and get these flights to take off again. Some passengers we talked to here at LaGuardia, you can see this big crowd just gathering behind me. They've said they've been here for hours. They are frustrated. Some of these airlines are offering travel waivers to their passengers who had flights that are supposed to take off today. So you should check with your carrier before you head to the airport. Steph.
What a huge inconvenience. Hopefully it is all resolved very soon. Ariel, thank you. And emergency response systems, including hospitals, have also been impacted by this outage. Massachusetts General Brigham Hospital has canceled all elective and non-emergency surgeries today. Aaron Katersky has more on how services like police and fire departments are responding. Hey there, Aaron.
Like many industries, the nation's police and fire services, especially in the big cities, have gone high-tech, and they are relying on systems they do not necessarily control. So they're returning to old-school, low-tech methods, dispatching using radios and the telephone. That's not necessarily crippling, but it could slow things down in a way the public just isn't used to. Computers at the Justice Department are affected, we're told. So far, though, there's no indication it's affecting law enforcement activities in the field. Here in New York, the mayor's office says the city has been assessing the impact. Emergency operations, including 911, are not affected. But overall, it is a reminder of how dependent we all are on interconnected systems that are potentially vulnerable. Stephanie?
Aaron, thank you so much. And joining me now is former FBI agent and ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Brad, this is something we do not see very often, right? How unprecedented is this kind of outage that, of course, is impacting so many businesses, including some government computers and mass transit systems?
Well, on a large scale, you're right. We don't hear about this regularly. But I think, Stephanie, this is a great example of how vulnerable the system really is. If CrowdStrike is being forthwith about what they think they found, it's basically a corrupted patch. You know, we get patches every day to fix malware from trying to get through our firewall. But can you figure out a way to infect the patch? So could that be a malicious actor outside of the United States? Maybe. But the point being, we have to have backups, and we have to be able to attack these things, particularly from fire, police, and medicine, emergency medical stuff. We have to be able to jump to alternative systems quickly, because let's face it, if you put those systems down, it really doesn't make us safe on so many different levels.
Right. And what does this outage say about how dependent so many organizations and people are on a single software system?
I think it says that it could happen again. And, you know, my immediate thought when I heard this 3 hours ago was this some sort of test run by a foreign actor that doesn't like us, like Russia, China? Now, obviously, I don't know if any of that's true. I'm only suggesting is that we aren't really to the bottom of this, in my view, as to what it is. But to your point, we just are vulnerable. And that's why it's so critical to deal with cybersecurity, no matter what you do, no matter what level you are. the less you pay attention to cybersecurity, the more vulnerable you are to this. However, having said that, this is an entire system, the Microsoft system. You know, people on Apple, et cetera, aren't affected. So it's potentially a big problem down the road.
Such critical infrastructure. Brad, thank you so much for your insights. We'll see how this all plays out.